Hello, Connecticut working moms. Welcome to Magical Monday. And today, my blog title is Safety or Fear. I feel like our society has become increasingly fear based than when I was a child. For instance, when I was a kid, you didn't have to wear seatbelts, you didn't have to wear bike helmets, and baby proofing was something that people really didn't do or think about. And I just think that as a society, we have become conditioned, and I do say conditioned, to have more and more fear around things that maybe we don't necessarily need to have fear around. I'm not a fearful mom. Safety, I have to say, is not my priority. I know there's this whole baby company called Safety First. Well, that's not my motto. My motto is freedom first. And I think a lot of people, given what I'm about to say, would even deem me an unfit mama because I am not afraid of safety. I'm just not in fear for my kids like I'm told I should be. I never baby proofed ever. And I have 3 kids now. No one has ever shocked themselves in an outlet or cut themselves with a knife or gotten into their detergents and eaten them. And I know we hear horror stories like that all the time. And granted, the news loves to tell us these horror stories, and I think we internalize them and think something bad happened. So I have to make sure that something bad doesn't happen to me. But I just don't think that's the right attitude for me anyway. And then now there's warning labels everywhere. You can't get away from the warning labels. When I had my first son 8 years ago, I had him in a Maya wrap, one of those little ring slings. Um, and yeah, and now I've got a new one 8 years later for my almost 2 year old 2 years ago. And now that they're becoming more popular, the ring slings, they have this huge warning label on the inside of it, and I hate it. I have to get a seam ripper and rip that thing out because give me a break. It's saying, your baby could fall out, your baby could suffocate, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. You know what? I'm not living with that stuff. I can't even stand the warning labels in my cars, with the little things with the airbags and, oh, I can't stand living in this fearful, fearful society because I think fear and worry begets fear. I think we're conditioned to fear, so we'll be afraid. But I really don't think there's that many things to be afraid of. Um, Yesterday, and what gave me the idea to write this was yesterday I was behind in my car. I was behind this couple on a motorcycle, and they weren't wearing helmets, and they didn't have on the chaps, and they didn't even have on long pants. And I could hear what society was saying because I've heard some friends say this, and I've heard other people say like, "Oh, look at those idiots! I can't believe they're being so stupid. No helmets." And but what I was thinking was like, wow, they look so free and they look like they're having so much fun. And it looks to me like they trust in their safety. And I have to say, I think that's the key for me is trusting and believing in our safety. Um, I had an incident happen a year ago. My friend Karen and I were doing community service outside our local co-op. We were making little fairy houses because they were having a fairy house extravaganza in the town of Chester. And Karen and I volunteered to do this. And so we were making these little fairy houses outside our local co-op, and our kids were there playing in a river nearby. And at the time, they were ages 7, 5, and 4. And I went into the local beat to get some snacks for the kids. And when I come out, I can see someone talking to my friend Karen, and then on closer observation, I noticed that she was yelling at my friend Karen. And as I came up there, I could hear her saying things like, "This is so dangerous. Your kids should not be playing by the river. What kind of mother are you?" And I just felt compelled. They were my kids too to join the conversation. I'm like, wait, hold on. These are my kids too. And yes, they have our permission to be down near the river. And she just kept going on. And I said to her, "Look, you're coming at this from a place of fear. We don't have this fear for our children." She was very angry, very indignant that we didn't take on her fear. Uh, we trusted our kids near the river. We trusted them. And even if we couldn't see them at all times, they were within earshot. And frankly, it just wasn't in my concern to think, oh my God, they could fall in. Oh my God, they're going to drown. Oh my God, oh my God. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking my kids are free. I trust my children. They have good body awareness. If something happens, we can get to them and we're safe. So, what I'm thinking is, it's really all about creating an aura of safety. I'm not going to tell you some of the other things I let my kids do because I would probably be deemed as an unfit mom because I'm not afraid enough. Um, but I think in my fearlessness, I do create an energy and an aura of trust that we are safe, we are protected. And you know, a good example of this is my husband. Also, I have to give him props. He's not fear-based either. He does have a little more worry about my kids when they're being rambunctious and careful, careful, careful. He's not with them 24/7 like I am, so I understand how my kids work and how their body awareness works. And my 2-year-old has been scaling the back of the couch, and it's sort of scary to watch it, but he loves to do it, and he seems to know what he's doing. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let him do it. I'm just gonna let him do it. My husband didn't like it at all, and I'm like, look, he's a kid. If he falls, but he'll be okay. But I think he'll be fine. Um, so that's the aura I create around him when he's scaling the couch. And I was out of the room, and my worrying husband was in the room when my baby actually fell down after he was scaling the couch, and he hurt himself a little. But you know, my kids have never had to go to the emergency room, knock on wood, in 8.5 years. Um, and I just think that maybe his expectation of the baby hurting himself maybe led to him actually hurting himself. I do believe that we can create an energy of fear or an energy of trust. I don't even like insurance companies. Seriously, it's a struggle to even have insurance for me. I'm not one who prepares for just in case the worst happens. I'm one who just believes I am safe and protected. And is that the way we should all be? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a good way to lead ourselves down to society, being in a culture and an energy of safety and trust, rather than you have to be afraid. Anyway, that's where I am, and I would love to hear more of what you think. If you think that we can create energies of safety or energies of fear, I choose freedom. You know, I think my kids feel free to do things maybe other kids don't because I just trust that they're okay. Let me know what you think. Happy Magical Monday.